morning and welcome to Morning Matters. This morning we are downtown Belize City. That's right. We're giving you a little treat of the city. If you've never seen Belize City, you see some of the highlights of the city. This is one of the highlights of the city right now. I can remember when this park was not so good looking. Today we sit in a good looking, peaceful place. With me this morning, my guest is Will Moreno. A lot of you will know him from Will's photography. A lot of you will know him also from being here on Morning Matters. Will, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, Rhonda. How are you doing?
Excellent. No complaints any at all. It's been a while since I've seen you.
I know it's been a while. It's been, I think the last time was in,
last year.
Well, yeah, literally last year, but it was sometime in October, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, but it's been a while.
It's time for a change.
Definitely time for a change. 2015 is certainly time for big things.
What's going on with Will?
Well, as always, busy, but well, with the photography side of it, we have been doing quite a bit. We're going back to our roots, and you know, people have been pushing us in different directions, and I think we're actually going back to where we actually started with everything and doing the editorial style stuff like I did for magazines. So we're going back to that with our Will Moreno photography. Our branding is certainly getting, and we're getting that exposure out there. The other thing that we're dealing with is, of course, nouveau model management, and that is certainly growing as well.
Okay.
So, and we've been approached by different people from international fractions, from New York, from Miami, from Los Angeles, from Mexico, Guatemala, the Caribbean. So we're doing pretty good.
What separates your photographer from the others?
Well, I mean, every photographer, I must say, is an artist in his own way, and you got to respect every single photographer out there. The thing that sets me apart is the fact that my viewpoint or my stylized way of doing it is certainly different from other photographers. A lot of people know me really for my very airy photos. They look very colorful and very vibrant, and they're alive, and that's what I'm known for.
I noticed that you put up one yesterday with Maria.
Yes.
Is her name Maria? That was such a beautiful photograph. I mean, you really highlighted her. If people will know Maria as a beauty queen, and now she's pregnant, and guess what? She's looking good still.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You know, we take that, like in our photography, our actual logo, our logo and our catchline is capturing moments, and that's exactly what we do at Will Moreno Photography. We make sure to capture those moments. That's a moment that she will never have like that again, and we're capturing it, and we're actually getting it framed for her.
Excellent.
So that's a great thing,
isn't it though? Any matters of your own this morning?
Of my own this morning, the only thing that I have to say is, you know, Belize City certainly looks great. There's a few things here and there that still needs to be worked on. The tourism is great.
Life is good?
Life is good. Life is great.
No complaints, you're sure? No complaints, no concerns.
Well,
no
Rhonda, the only complaint I have about you, no, I'm kidding. No, it's.
You know, the good thing with Morning Matters is that I was still, Rhonda, what is the complaint? Lots of people out there have complaints about me.
You know what,
but they're not as fortunate as you to tell me.
Well, the thing about it is, if you complain all the time, you're certainly not appreciating what you have. And that's the thing, you know. I mean, I can understand that you do have complaints here and there,
yes.
But there's a thing called complaining, and there's a thing called action, and or a remedy to those things. And I think it's best to just, you know, let those things go. Don't let those things burden you, and just move on.
I say, if you're not going to do anything about it, talking certainly won't fix it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If you know, let's see, how do I get my wife back? Because she left me for someone that has much more money than me. What am I to do?
Go ahead.
If I were you, I would count my blessings, because you don't want somebody that is only with you for what you have. People need to be with people, in my opinion, for who they are as opposed to what they have, because what you have is so it's so temporary. You know, today I might have a job that gives me $500. Next month I might have a job that gives me $5,000. But none of those things are permanent. Who I am on the inside should remain a little constant.
And I certainly agree with you, Rhonda. I mean, monetary value, it only lasts for so long. You can't take it to the grave with you. And the thing about it is, you have to be happy in life. If you're seeking, and like you said, you know, count your blessings. Because really and truly, if all she is there for the money, then that was not a quality relationship to begin with.
My question would be, why do you want her back?
No, I wouldn't. I would let her go.
Why would you want her back? If you know somebody was only there for the fine time, then let him go.
I certainly agree. I certainly agree.
You know? The guy that has the money, will find out as soon as his money's gone, she'll be gone again.
Well, the thing is, for her being in a relationship like that, and only being there for the money, there's a lot of things other than money that a relationship hinges on.
But
and,
you're all, sorry.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you have to have that intimacy, you have to have that fine time. But if you are mixing money with that, then it doesn't make sense.
Well, we have to keep one thing in mind. We have to think about it wholesomely. And this is only his opinion as to why she left.
Yes.
He just might happen to be a poor man, and she might have just happened to run into a man with money. That does not necessarily mean that is the only reason she's with him. But at the bottom line is, if she doesn't want you and she has left you, even if she's left you for a man that does nothing, she left you. At the end of the day, you need to move on. She gone.
I agree.
Morning, I am in my late 50 and my 26-year-old girl says she not get enough sex. What do you think after that, after 7 years?
Okay, wait.
He is in his late 50s. He's got a girl that's 26, and they've been together for 7 years, seemingly. And her complaint is that she's not getting enough sex.
Well, she should have thought about that before she got into a relationship of that sort. I mean, the truth about it is, in a situation like that, when you're younger, 7 years ago, I could imagine that the age difference was not much of a factor.
7 years ago, she was 19.
Well, yes, that's still of legal consenting age in Belize. And that's why at that point it didn't matter to her. But now she's living a different type of life, and she wants more than what she's used to.
This man could have been 50 and you could have been 51, or both of you could have been 50. People's drive change, or
the libido change
based on many things, and it has something what to do with age, but it has to do with how you care for yourself. It has to do with the attraction that you have to the person. It could be that the man is not as attracted to you as before because things you used to do you don't do anymore.
Apparently,
the first thing you have to do is check yourself.
Well, here it's the man that's complaining because the woman is being overly has a high sexual drive.
Yes.
But I mean, because you were putting it in reverse. At the same time, what he needs to understand is, by him being with a younger person, of course he's gonna have that person that has a higher sex drive, that has a higher libido. And at the same time, he needs to understand that, you know what, that was going to happen in the first place anyway.
There's no guarantee that would have happened. There is no guarantee that would have happened, because there are some people out there that are in their 60s and they're going full steam.
Well, that's true.
They are going 100% full steam. So I says it has to do with the energy and the effort you put in the relationship. I think if you neglect the relationship, certain things die, and that is one of the first areas to go. If I'm not feeling you, well, there's no way I'm going to come home and want to jump up on top of you. And man and woman, I feel it's the same way.
It could be so many different, like you said, so many different things though. I mean, in a situation like this, at the age of 50, he's more concerned about the finances of the home.
Maybe
and the different things. No, I mean, he's worried about the finances of the home and different things. I mean, he's more than likely he's working still and coming home, and at that age, you're a little bit more tired than you were at 26. So all these things are factors that, are certainly interfering with this relationship.
I say sit down with your woman, have her, both of you need to be reasonable with each other. First of all, I think when you go into any place to negotiate, you need to ask yourself first, what am I contributing to this problem? And how can I fix or recommend to fix this problem? Once you go in with those two mindsets, you should be fine. Because I would imagine that both of you want to fix it, but fighting over it will not help it. Asking me might help a little bit, because I will tell you to go back and sit down and decide what you're going to do. But if the end of the day is that you are not as excited, there are medication for that. See your doctor.
We won't mention medications.
There's medications for that.
Yeah.
Medication for almost anything. Maybe just a little exercise.
Well, that certainly helps with sex drive, actually. I mean, it's a proven fact.
Yes.
That the more you exercise, the more the air intake, the oxygen you get in your system, the more you actually have a higher sex drive in that case. But I mean, like she said, you certainly have to sit and talk about it.
Talk to the man or to the lady. Me and my family is splitting up. My wife moved out, and she is moving in just 1 month. She refused to tell me that she is seeing someone else. She still wants to have sex, but won't have me around.
Why are you allowing yourself to be a tool? Really and truly.
Well, I could understand where the man is, but you're going about
I mean,
this
he
the wrong
wants
way.
he wants to have the relationship still,
Yes.
but at the same time, he needs to understand that he's being used as a tool. When she doesn't want to be in the relationship, she goes. When she wants to be there, then she comes. You can't allow yourself to be used.
That's it. You need to figure out what it is that you want. You need to figure out what it is that she wants. She needs to suffer the sense of loss for her to make a good decision. Right now, she's not suffering the sense of loss. She's not suffering at all.
Yeah.
She happy. She have the man on the side and she have you when she wants you. You need to step back and give her that sense of loss. And when you are gone, if she doesn't miss you, then so be it. But you can't keep feeding her when she wants it, because then she's getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Exactly.
Morning. I have been dating this guy for over a year and we now live together, and he insists on having sex every night. I can't take it. I told him, but he insists. Do you think I should leave?
We had one complaining that they weren't getting enough,
This one getting too much.
and this one getting too much. I mean, again, sex drive is certainly something that, you know, can affect a relationship. You know, in this case, it's too much. And I wouldn't complain about too much, to be honest with you. I don't know who would. I don't know who would.
I think that probably when you started dating this man, you had a rhythm. Like you had a way that maybe every day you used to go and have sex and you were excited. When you move in, that changed because your mindset might have changed. You've gotten a little bit more comfortable, you know, caught up with how we're going to make this whole house a home, how we're going to raise these children, or so that has taken, or maybe something else has taken a lot of weight on your mind. So you are not putting the energy and the effort into sex the way you were in the first 4 or 5 months of the relationship. You have to keep, in my opinion, one thing in mind. How you start and the message you send out to your partner is important, because that is what they will expect. This brother probably went around to all of his friends. My girl is the best girl. She never tired. She always happy. She'll give me what I want. Now you're turning into somebody else. You're changing the contract in the middle of it. And if that is what you're going to do, you need to find a place to negotiate with him and sit down with him and explain to him what has changed on your behalf. Because I am almost sure that he's the same man that you met a year ago is the same man in your bed today.
I agree.
Generally, men stay the same.
The thing about it, though, is in a relationship, there's transitions.
Yes.
You know, and like you said, 7 years ago, they were living apart, and the excitement of, you know, having sexual intimacy was there. But no, because of the fact that they're in the relationship.
I don't catch her.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Catch her.
So it's something that he feels like it's not something that he has to do every night.
No, it's she.
Or she has to do every night. So that's, you know, that's where it actually works. They need to figure out something that actually, because they're progressing with the relationship, they need to find what's going to work in their relationship for them. And it's certainly going to change over the years.
And they have to meet where they are.
Mm-hmm.
That is important. You have to meet where you are, because you can't think of how it was and how you want it to be. Where you are is important for you to discuss.
The one thing that I need to reiterate, and I think we've said it on previous shows, Rhonda, is the fact that people do need to communicate.
Yes.
And there's a difference between, you know, healthy communication and just destructive communication. And in a case like this, it's a matter of how you approach a subject or how you actually try to deal with it. That's going to make a world of a difference. I'm pretty sure in a situation like this, from what it sounds like, there's been tension in the home over something like this. And I can almost say that it's over the way that you've actually approached it. So you need to come, instead of being, accusatory, you know, just come to it and say, you know what, honey, I've been realizing such, and this is what's been going on. What do you think? What should we do? You know, talk about it like that. Yes.
Me and my girl love each other, but we like to fight. Do you think it's the way we should live if we are happy?
Fighting is not being happy. It goes right back to what we just said. You know, the fights are obviously over something. It could be something as small or something large. We don't know what it is in this case. Either way, that is something that's not healthy communication.
It could be that you don't know how to communicate with each other. It could be that your intentions are great and you feel loved. You feel like you love this woman, but you don't know how to communicate that to her. maybe you want a mediator. Sometimes a mediator is one of the persons or the things that can help our relationship. Just somebody so that both of you can speak and be heard, because maybe right now you're just talking and nobody listening. You know, sometimes we think we're listening, you know, Will, but while you're talking, I am so busy formulating my answer that I miss everything you said, you know. And sometimes I find it even with myself in day-to-day living, like, I really don't want to hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
I just want to tell you, I want to get my point across so bad that I tune you out and I wait for the quiet to start talking.
But it's funny that you say that, Rhonda, because in many relationships, that's exactly what happens. The fact that I just want to get what I want to get off my chest, and I don't listen to what you're saying. It's a two-way street. You have to listen, and then when it's your turn to talk, then you talk. But at the same time, you can't do all the talking and no listening. So you have to go two ways.
Try a little listening. You know, that is the best form of communication sometimes.
Well, I don't know if people know, but there's said to be an 80-20 rule.
Tell me.
In any communication. It's 80% listening and 20% verbal communication, which means talking.
I must say the feel.
I think so, long time. But that's what it is, because in order for you to understand what you're going to be talking about, you need to listen. So,
but what happens when you have a partner that does not communicate like that? He says nothing.
No, then eventually that person that you're with will learn the way you communicate and will start actually communicating with you on a level like that.
Hopefully.
Well, then if that's not the case, then it ends up in situations like we're talking about.
I've been with my husband for 10 years. He keeps cheating on me. We have children. And every time he cheats, he says that he will not do it again. But he goes right back to doing it again.
The reason I laugh, Rhonda, is because what this woman is not realizing is that she's allowing it to happen. If he does it once and you allow it once, you kind of said, you know what, it was okay. You allowed it twice. Oh, it's okay. You allowed it 3 times. It's like they say, you fool me once, shame on you. Yeah, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's exactly the case here, because you're allowing it over and over and over. That he's not learning a lesson from it.
This man is not cheating anymore.
No.
It is not cheating because you know, and you have accepted in some shape, form, or fashion.
Well,
if you want a different result in anything, you have to try a different approach. And you have maintained the same approach over the past 10 years. That is the reason you're getting the same result. It is that simple. The minute you change your approach is the minute you will get a different result. So maybe what you want to do is, as opposed to asking him to stop cheating, you make a comment to him that you can live through. Babe, if this happens again, this is what I will have to do. You have pushed my hand. But don't make another idle threat. Don't say, well, I want to pack up my bag and I want to leave with all them picnic. If that's not what you intend for though.
You talk about picnic or children in a situation like this. They're the ones that are actually hurting in this situation, because what you're doing is you're setting a bad example for them to see that you're actually allowing this to happen over and over and over. Think of the example you're setting for the children.
Exactly. On that note, we're going to take a break and be back. Welcome back to Morning Matters right here from downtown Belize City. Will, how you doing?
Doing great.
You sure?
Yes. It's a beautiful day here in the city. That I must say. I mean, it's sunny, but it's not very hot.
No.
So it's a really good day here in Belize.
You know, it's a beautiful day. Let's see what we have here now. Since you don't have no matters.
Do you have any matters? I'm pretty sure you do, Rhonda.
I can't think of any matter that is overbearing.
In all the years of doing morning matters, I've never heard Rhonda have a matter.
You know, sometimes I am human, right? And in my human being, I experience certain discomfort, if you want to call it that. But I try my best as quickly as I can to train myself to change my thoughts so that I can come up with a solution as opposed to just complaining about it. I might go to my sister and says, well, you know, Tom Jones did so and so today, you know. But that's just because I want somebody to bounce something off. You know? But I'm not going to for anything other than I need somebody to reason with, because I feel like or sometimes I might go to her and she'd say, you know, read this book or listen to this thought, and that helped. But I don't try to dwell on it.
I think that's why we get along so well.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that I'm the same way, actually.
Yeah.
I don't like to dwell in the negative.
No.
And I just let that. If it happened, it happened. You know what? You learn from it, move on, and get. Because if you stay back there,
it's still your time.
Exactly.
And your joy.
I only have one life to live. I'll make sure I'm not wasting time doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. So.
Or something that brings me discomfort and not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, the other day we had a few days ago we had on Ed Williams on the show, and he says, obviously he's read a lot of books, and he says there's 3 questions you should ask yourself if you want to know when you're making a decision.
Okay.
First, if it is good for people,
Mm-hmm.
like your friends, your family, the people around you. Secondly, if it is good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, if it makes you happy. So I said to him, I thought you should start with me. He said that is what you're making yourself selfish. But anyway, but he says what brings the most discomfort to people is that they start in the wrong order. Do I like it? If you ask that question first and you like it, then you're done. Because you don't give yourself the opportunity to ask the other 2 important questions.
I think I'm selfish then. Because in a sense, a lot of times the first question that I ask is, does it make me happy?
Yeah. And that was my first thing and he says, no. And after I thought about it, I think, the man right. If it's good for your friends and your family because you love them and you care
Mm-hmm.
about them, and then is it good for you?
Okay, so we need to fix that problem then. Tell him he needs to rewrite that book. If it's good for your friends and family first, not for everyone.
Well,
just
for people involved in it, like if it's good for them,
yeah.
Then is it good for you? Then do you like it?
Yeah.
And I think that should be the thought for you today. When you're making a decision, consider those 3 factors and hopefully you'd make better decisions.
So it's good if it's good for the people involved.
If it's good for them, the other party.
Uh-huh.
Your family, whoever is the external.
Then if it's good for you.
If it's good for you. And then if you like it.
Okay.
Morning, I live with this guy, but he says he loves me, but I don't. But he doesn't really but I don't really want to tell him. Now he wants to bring his 2 daughters, and I don't have kids, and I don't like kids. What am I to do?
Well, in a situation like this where this is something that you certainly have had to have discussed before. You don't get into a relationship and you deal with that whereby you're not thinking of kids or doing anything of that sort. So this is a bridge that you need to cross before you even get into a relationship, and I think that was the first mistake they made in the first place.
But she has time to fix it.
Well, she does.
You don't love the man, you don't want to take care of his children with him, tell him. Because everybody in this relationship will be unhappy very shortly. Right now, he's feeling a little bit of comfort because he is living under the illusion that you do love him, and that does bring him some comfort. But you are the one with the most pressure because these children coming around that upsets your day. A man that you don't love, that you're with for whatever reason, I know that is stealing your joy as well. The question is, why are you in it?
Well, she needs to fix it before it gets worse.
Fix it right now.
Yeah, you don't want it to get into a situation whereby he brings his kids, and then by you leaving at that point where the kids are already there, and then the kids get involved, and it's not good at that point.
Right now, it's just you and him, you and his feelings. Deal with that. You don't want 2 other children involved, and then that's 4 people's feelings.
Exactly.
I am 23 and single. I live alone and working. Why is it that when I tell guys that, the first thing they want to do is come and sleep over? Do people still go on dates? Because, gosh, it doesn't seem so.
And she brought a valid point that this is one of the things that Belize right now has been plagued with for the new generation. And I must say it. I mean, I rarely go out, but when I go out, I see these behaviors that you and I don't even know about that happened before. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem that way, like it is that way anymore. It seems like having sex is just basically a fun time. It's not necessarily to see if you're compatible, or if it's nothing of that sort anymore. It's just something of, it's just an amusement park at this point.
People most of the time, or a lot of people, young,
Mm-hmm.
old, in between, they go out because they want to swing off of your park bench, or you swing, or
Mm-hmm.
sit on your park bench, or whatever it is you want to call it, or they want to ride off your horse, or whatever the case is. But if you find that the men that you are speaking with, or the men that are speaking with you, that is all they're interested in, then you need to change your circle a little bit. Because the chances of you finding what you're looking for in that circle is becoming dimmer and dimmer because you stay in the same circle. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of boys and every time you say to them, well, you know, I live alone and la la la, and they says, oh, I could come over, come sleep. Then you want a man that, if that is not the response you're looking for, you need to find one that would say, oh, great, awesome, you're doing good for yourself. Congratulations, continue doing good. We have to treat people the way we want to be treated. We have to surround ourselves with the kind of people that we want to be in our lives. If there's a bunch of leech that is chatting you up, then don't talk to them. Don't go to places where they will be.
For one, I must say, you know, congratulations to this person for being the way they are. Because that's a very rare quality that you find in any person at this,
what,
at this
23
moment.
And working?
Well, 23 working and having their own place. I mean, most 23-year-olds at this point, they're not living with that responsibility on their own. They're normally still at home. They're still doing this stuff. So congratulations to that person for doing that. And two, because you realize that the fact that the world is a little bit different than you actually think it is. You know, you were raised in a home where you were shown how to value yourself. And that's where she is at this point.
That's right. But not make them man change you. You
exactly.
Be the change that you want to be.
Exactly. And trust me, eventually you will find that person. Just don't go rushing into it, because like Rhonda said, if you're finding these people in those places that you've been going, maybe those places are not where you need to be.
Exactly. Good morning. I've been having some problems with the people surrounding my partner and I. Okay. What can I do? They tell my partner lies about me that are not true. That is what would make them lies, because they're not true. Though he believes them and then comes back drunk, I guess she's supposed to be, though he does not believe them, and then he comes back drunk, talks to me about it, and tries to hit me. Next time, I won't say anything, but I will leave him. I'm tired of it.
And I could see why. I mean, that it's getting to a point whereby it's getting abusive. And I would not tolerate that in the first place. If you're in a situation like that, then you obviously need to find a safe place to be. And being in your relationship is not the safest place to be at this moment. The first issue that you actually wrote about is a minor issue compared to the people that are surrounding you. I don't think that's the main issue.
You just sit down with this man and have a talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of time people use alcohol to show the true them. And have him understand that there are lots of other ways to deal with his insecurities, the things that are plaguing his mind. He wants to believe you, but he's not mature enough to be able to carry out that task. So when Tom Jones say you're doing 100 out there, he says, oh, not my wife, but in the back of his mind, he think maybe she could be doing that out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when he comes home now and he's on the alcohol, the true him come out. You need to stop that right away. Sit him down and tell him, look, this can't continue to do this. The next time you go out and drunk and come home with this is what I will do. And again, don't make idle threats to this man. Whatever you say you will do, you have to carry through.
Yeah.
Have to. So if you're not ready to do nothing, don't say nothing.
I agree.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break and be back. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Morning Matters right here in downtown Belize City. Another beautiful day in the city, the old capital as we call it. As you know, the new capital is Belmopan City.
Yes.
When last you did something fun in the country?
When last did I do something fun in the country? I'm always doing something fun in the country.
I know, that's why I asked.
And that's the hard part. I was just approached this morning actually, and I was offered a free stay at a hotel in Orange Walk, because for some reason they've noticed that every time I go to Orange Walk, I'm either working or I always have some very bad experiences in Orange Walk. And I'm just gonna say that it's just me. I think it's one of those things, you know. But they offered me a nice stay at a nice hotel and to come and enjoy Orange Walk, and I was like, right on. Maybe I need to do that. I've always go west, which is Belmopan, Cayo.
Yeah, I like
right,
Cayo.
Or I go south. So I go to Stan Creek or I go to Punta Gorda.
Placencia.
I've never been to Placencia.
No?
But no, I haven't.
Oh boy, the next time we go to Placencia, we're bringing Will, okay? Will has to come to Placencia. Will, you're missing out one of the best parts,
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I hear all the tourists rave about it. I hear all the locals rave about it. But I've never been. The last time I've been to Placencia, honestly, was when I was a little kid. So it's been quite a while. I don't know the new road. The last road I remember, I didn't even want to go on because it was so bad. But I heard it's actually paved all the way, so I'm hoping one of these days. I've been tempted many times.
I have to call Veronique McKenzie and have her hook you up with a place to stay down there. You know, the next time I go down, I have to take you. I put you and Dahlia in the truck, lock you up, and take you with me because you have to come.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. I mean, I travel all the time. It's just that some of these places like Corozal, Orange Walk, Placencia, I don't normally stay overnight. And I think in order for us to appreciate parts of our country, we need to be able to stay a little bit more than a couple hours than just be working.
Placencia is your next spot, okay?
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll take a look.
Definitely. I think you're going to have a great time.
I guess all the people from Placencia will say yes.
No, true though. Honestly, it's a nice place. If you've never been, you have to be. There's lots of good places to stay down there. Well,
in my photography business as well, though, we love capturing the beauty of Belize. And I think by going to these destinations, we certainly get to appreciate what Belize has to offer.
Yes.
And by going to these places, for me, I can surely show what Belize has to offer in through the photos.
We'll take you there. Good morning. I am with this guy for 4 months. When I am with him, he treats me like a lady. And when he is with or around girls, he wants to treat me like we are best friends. What do you think?
I think nothing of it, really. The truth about it is, he should be treating you like a lady all the time. However, what happens when you're together, the intimacy or your reaction, your interaction is a little closer. When you're around friends, or girls, I should say, specifically from what she's saying, you know, he acts a little bit differently. There's nothing behind it, really. And it's one of these things whereby, you know, I'm going to be this close to you when we're together, but I'm going to be this close when we're together. There's really nothing happening there.
You've only been with the man for 4 months. The man treats you good all the time. You say he treats you like his best friend when he's out with you and the girls. You can't expect for him to be right up under your armpits like deodorant. I mean, no, the man needs a little space. He needs to hold his own. And you should be comfortable that he's holding his own. Well, he's not disrespecting you.
For one,
he's treating you well still.
Well, the good part about it is most women would be complaining because he doesn't take you along. But here, he willingly has you by his side when he's going out with other women. And so you should not feel you shouldn't be uncomfortable in any situation like this. You should be glad that he's taking you out along with him.
You know, if there's something specific that you want him to change, I say sit him down and speak about it. But 4 months is a very short time. As much as he likes you, maybe he's not in for that full commitment that you're looking for yet. So it might not be him, it might be you. But enjoy it for what it is.
Well said.
I have my partner who had hickeys on his neck. And he told me his sister did it and they were both laughing. What am I to do?
That doesn't sound quite right. Something in a situation like this, for what you must say that a sister is not going to give a brother hickey.
Well, there are some. Maybe they were playing and he squeezed her neck, or she squeezed his neck.
Yeah, but I mean, you would obviously talk about it instead of just laughing about it. In a situation like that,
whatever that is, I'd find it a little concerning. I would be a little concerned about that. That would draw a lot of suspicion for me. That would not be something that I would find funny at all.
I wouldn't either.
But I feel, based on the content of this text, that you guys are young and you're playing the fool.
For one, I mean, anyone walking around with hickey, you know they're very young. That's only a sign of marking territory, and
it's for young folks.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't. Any mature person knows that you can kiss a person without leaving marks on a person. You don't necessarily need to leave a hickey. The minute you start leaving hickeys is just basically for you to try to say, I'm marking my territory.
The question you need to ask yourself is, what is the history that you have with this man? You should be able to determine whether or not he is, everybody's capable of something, but what are the chances that he would do it? And that would be determined based on the history you had with him. That's like somebody coming here to me and says, well, Will rob Brothers? I'd say never, because I know Will is not a thief. But if they say somebody else robbed Brothers, I might think,
all right,
even if he didn't rob Brothers, I might say, but he's stolen from so many other people, chances exist. So if you have a man that has been good and respectful and kind and loving and never come up with any of those craziness, then maybe he is telling you the truth. Maybe they were making a joke of some strange sort and it happened. But outside of that, I would say to him, something doesn't smell right here.
But you could say that again. Strange.
Very strange. They have a strange relationship if they're big adults and acting foolish like that.
Exactly.
What if you have an outside child that you told the woman you lived with about, but she won't allow you to have anything to do with that child? What am I to do?
Again, repeat that for me. I think this rings a really heavy tone.
What if you have an outside child that you told the woman that you live with about, but she will not allow you to have anything to do with that child?
That is a major decision that he has to make. Really and truly, because if you love your child and you want to have a relationship with your child, and your woman now is not allowing that is something that you should have discussed from the very beginning. Two, a lot of fathers today, I mean, and I applaud him for wanting to have a relationship with his child, because a lot of single parents today, female, the men don't want to have anything to do with the children. They want the freedom. And he, in this case, wants to have a relationship.
Well, I need to clarify one thing, or maybe you need to clarify one thing for me. When you say an outside child, does that mean a child that you made while you were in the relationship with the woman that you lived? Because that, while at the end result should not change, it definitely affects how she goes about it and how you go about the communication with her about it. If it is a child that you had before you met her, I don't believe that you would have referred to the child as an outside child. You might have said
that's
you had
a good point.
Right?
I never thought about that.
But if it is a child that you made while you were in the relationship, I believe then that would be the only reason you refer to this child as an outside child. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if this child is an outside child, an inside child, whatever child it is your child. You need to sit down with your wife and say to her, whoever you live with, have her understand, or try to have her understand, that when she forgave you, she accepted the responsibility of this child, because that is how that works. Maybe you need to go to a counselor where you can all sit down and figure this out. You obviously want to be with your wife, but a part of you wants to be able to see your child. You have to be a part of your child's life. You have to. Your wife needs to find a way, and like again I say, maybe through counseling, to find it in her heart to forgive this child forgive you for bringing this child into this world. And I would imagine that she has, but not to the extent that is allowing you to be a part of this child's life. This child should not suffer for the mistakes or the actions that you have committed. I would recommend counseling for your relationship, but you need to tell your wife you need to be a part of this child's life, and you have to. The child needs you.
Well, he obviously has made that point clear that he wants to be a part of the child's life. He needs to
act on it now.
Yeah, he just needs to find a way. And like you said, Rhonda, I think one of the best ways to do this is by seeking counseling, outside counseling, because this is a very heavy tone for anybody to go through. I mean, this is not something easy to know that you found or find out that you have an outside child. Because trust me, if I found that, Dolly had an outside child, or, while we were in a relationship, that would be something that I would be like, you know what, forget it, I'm out of here, done. That's it, because you weren't really true to me. But if you want to continue a relationship in this case, and obviously they're still together, then the best way to go about it is doing counseling.
And I have to say this to ladies especially. When you know, and a lot of women know that they have a cheating man, a lot of women stay in relationships when they know that their man is cheating. If you know that your man is cheating, I hope that you also realize the consequences of his actions can affect you in a bigger way than you're seeing right now. Like bringing a disease home, like making children out there, like so many other things. So when you have a man that you know is a cheating man and you decide to stay with him, please be mindful of all the other things that can be a part of your life.
I mean, I just like to remind people one thing, if you have a cheating man or a cheating woman, because that's in the case as well. A
cheating woman too, yeah.
Let's just think of it this way. Would you want to stay with that person, or would you want to sleep with everybody else that he's sleeping with indirectly?
And that's what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening.
We're all jumping up together. It's a big party. Except I don't know their face and I can't see them.
Exactly.
Sure, I'll have a boyfriend and he tells me that he loves me and that he is loyal to me and that he is serious with me, but I feel like I don't believe him, but I love him.
Basically, what she has is speculation. She has speculations without any solid proof.
She has her own insecurities. You are bringing too much baggage to the relationship. You need to fix you first.
Yes.
You need to relax yourself, center your soul, find out what it is about me that makes me so unwilling to believe this man. What happened in my life that this man obviously is not giving me any reason to not believe him, because I'm with him, I say I love him. You didn't point out any specifics where he's been untrue to you.
It's just an insecurity.
It is you. You know, and unless you have him in your purse and carry him everywhere you go, you have to learn to trust him. Anything outside of that will be a problem.
Let me just give you a hint as to where your relationship is going. It's called nowhere. Nowhere. Because basically what you're doing is you're going to start pushing the person that you actually really love away from you to the point that he's going to make a decision to say, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore, I'm out of here.
We need as individuals to be able to stand on our 2 feet. We need to come strong and prepared for a relationship. And that is to examine ourselves and be the best us that we can be. And the only way for you to do that is with a little bit of reflection. We're often busy to say, you know, I feel like Will is doing this, or I feel like Tom Jones is doing this. When in the back, you have no reason to believe that, except for something that happened to you 10 years ago with another man or with another woman or something else, and you says, you know, I see my neighbor husband cheating on him, so my husband must be cheating too.
Yeah.
How can a craziness affect you? So I say, pay attention to your business and pay attention to yourself, and then you go from there. I have 2 children with a man 24 years ago. I left him because he did not know who he wanted. I have a husband for 24 years, but I still love my ex. It says, my ex, that is, do you think I should do my husband? Or what do you think I should do? My husband is 67 years, 22 years older than I am. Okay. Your husband is 22 years older than you. You are in love with somebody from 24 years ago that you have 2 children with, that you left because at that time he didn't know where he wanted to go.
So she's in a relationship right now.
For 24 years. She's been married for 24 years.
With someone else.
Yes. But her heart is attached to Tom Jones.
I mean, obviously your heart had to be somewhere at some point in time to have 2 kids with the person. So that is a given. However, when you left the relationship 24 years ago,
yes,
then what you should have done is I mean, I can understand you still have an involvement because of the children. However, when you decided to get into a relationship with someone else, you decided to wholeheartedly get into that relationship. By you thinking about your previous marriage, what you need to actually do is you need to think about the many reasons why you left in the first place.
I think, like a lot of other people, you are in love with an idea. Because the man that you left 24 years ago is by no means the same man today. First of all, he's 24 years older. And if he wasn't mature, then chances are he might have gotten more mature, but he might have gotten more responsibility. He might also have a wife. And if he and you were truly in love with each other, you would have found each other a long time ago. Why would you want to disrupt the relationship that you now have for something that definitely you would have to start over on? The only thing that this does say to me is that the man that you are with, you are truly not in love with.
Exactly.
Which is so unfortunate, to have spent 24 years with a man and not be in love with him.
By now, I mean, 24 years living with somebody, you would expect you would have developed a strong relationship to the point that that's a long time.
Good friends, this is your bosom buddy.
And it's like you say, it's very sad because that's you're looking at getting into your I must say your mature years, and to be having these feelings now. I don't know if it's, you know, some people go through these menopausal changes, and it could be one of those things.
You need to check yourself. You need to quiet your soul and listen. Be still enough that you can hear. be quiet enough that you can hear, and you will hear the right thing. You can't think about how you you can't think solely about how you feel. You have to think about the practical side of this. You know, you have to think about you. You have to think about those children. You have to think about life. You have to think about your family, you know. And once you have thought about all of that, and what is to say that this man still wants to be with you? He probably didn't want to be with you 24 years ago. You think he wants to be with you now?
And
Chances are you gotten a few pounds heavier. You're not any more patient.
The only reason I would see, the only reason why I would think he would want to get back with you in any case would just to see your relationship that you have now, that you've developed over 24 years ago, to trash. And that's the only thing that I would see. But other than that, you need to, like Rhonda says, quiet your mind, invest in what you have right now, and forget what you had in the past.
Enjoy your life. All right? And if you truly, after you've done all your soul searching, don't want to be with your husband, then you tell him. But remember, it doesn't make sense to leave sure for unsure.
Exactly.
And sure is what you have.
Exactly.
Well, Morning Matters is winding down.
You always do this for me, Rhonda.
You always say that like you really, really want to be here.
But I do. I do. I actually, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure your audience... Well, I don't... Well, I'm sure they do, but no, I'm just kidding.
They miss you.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things that, you know, you have fun and then
it's done.
Then it's done.
Before we go though, I will ask you to please go and check out our page on Facebook. It's called Morning Matters. Please like it. Starting this week, we're going to be having a chance for you to win great prizes. All we ask you to do is like the page, put a comment in, like your name, in our message box, and then you get the chance to win the prize that we're going to have up there. We are doing it with Orange Gallery. So it's Morning Matters and Orange Gallery. We're going to put up the picture sometime later on this week.
Julian.
Yeah, so please stay tuned. Go check our page out and join in the competition. It's a great gift. Valentine's is coming. You want something to give to somebody. This gift will make your Valentine's. Anything you'd like to say before we go?
I guess we'll be back someday.
Guys, until next time, I encourage you to take care of yourselves and each other. This is Rhonda Crichton along with
Will Moreno.
saying goodbye.